I'm trying to look smart in these glasses because we're talking about IQ today in our Venus sequence, but the glare is driving me crazy. Ah, that's better. I'm Molly, you're watching Mirror Readings, and today we're talking about the lines in our intelligence quotient, which is our IQ in the Venus sequence. Typically, this gene key will correspond to an imprint that we received between ages 14 and 21. So contemplate that as you're looking at that gene key in your chart. Between our IQ and EQ, these are our defenses in relationships. So the IQ, the shadow is going to represent our intellectual defense. And they call this cycle of defensiveness in close relationships the Eden loop. And the Eden loop is defined as a low frequency biofeedback loop that occurs in relationships as two people's shadows collide. And again, this can apply to any interpersonal relationships, not just necessarily romantic ones. And they call the ability to discuss our patterns, our shadow patterns, without getting triggered, hopefully without triggering the other person, the art of joining. If you're able to discuss your feelings with another person without triggering theirs or your shadow patterns, you can learn the art of joining. Joining simply means that before you respond to what they say, you find a way to validate them. Validation is such an important technique when it comes to interpersonal, intimate communication. And finally, one more thing before we get into the lines, which is that our IQ represents some kind of psychological bias that underpins our behavior. Okay, so line one, if you've been with me for a while, you know that line ones always need more alone time than any of the other lines. And if you have a line one, or if you're in a relationship with an IQ line one, you just got to understand that these people need more alone time to grow. And everybody just has to be okay with that. So a lot of times line ones that are stuck in shadow pattern, who are more hidden emotionally, had something happen to them as a teenager, whether maybe they were shut down emotionally by their caretakers or their first love, or maybe something really humiliating or dramatic happened to them, or some big life cataclysmic event that caused them to turn inwards emotionally and never come out again. First line IQs have to find healthy, artful ways to express what's inside them. And sometimes words are not the best way. This is gonna sound silly, but I'm dead ass. Draw a picture, write a poem, an interpretive dance, anything that gets that emotion moving is going to make words easier, right? Because sometimes words are all we have. And the English language in particular, very clunky, very limited. But you first lines have to find a way to express yourselves, and if words don't come right away, try another form of expression that can hopefully then bring you the words. Okay, line twos, trigger warning. You guys have a tough lot if you have a line two in your IQ. Why? Because you have the brilliant, provocative mind, which is most likely to be misunderstood by others. If you're a line two, think back to your teenage years. Age 14 through 21 specifically, because a lot of times you guys were unjustly punished for some behavior. You got pissed off about it, and that anger is still lingering in adulthood and might be unconsciously perpetuating the pattern of being misunderstood and unjustly punished for it. But at its core, at the shadow frequency, second lines are all about provocation and anger and resentment that just can't be held in. So striking out when they feel threatened or vulnerable, taking themselves out of the equation in some way to avoid another conflict. You guys really have to feel your feelings instead of railing against the fates. As I said, this is a tough one, but line twos have to look at these patterns of anger and understand where they come from. Because a lot of times this is shit we inherited from our parents or caretakers. It's not even our patterns. And the maturing of this realization can lead to a reframing of the pattern, which creates a new and healthy outlet in the world for you, in life and in love. You got this, line two. I believe in you. All right, let's get to line three, which is the flexible or evasive mind. So as we know, if you've watched my other videos, third lines are all about interaction, diversity, in this case, flexibility. The third line pattern is a mind that explores all kinds of belief systems and mental structures. And it's also invaluable to strategic thinking because it is so absorbent and can help others in all kinds of ways. So hopefully this becomes an asset in the relationship and not a liability. In shadow frequency, line 3s can be evasive, meaning they never give a straight answer. So were you raised in a household where if you gave a straight answer, you'd give in trouble? This can also manifest in the teenage years as throwing away a golden opportunity and like having some lingering regret about it. Good news for line 3s though, y'all are wired to bounce back with minimal effort. Lucky you. You just need the right mix of firm boundaries and clear understanding. Awareness is always the answer. Feel into your patterns, examine the shadow, gift, and city of the gene key you have in your IQ, and just see where you might be telling yourself a victim story, right? About how you're the victim or you had to make somebody else the victim, whatever it is. Whatever stories you're telling yourself, those are the intellectual defenses we have to look out for to open our hearts. Fourth line is another tough one because these shadows cannot be dislodged through the mind. You have to work directly with the body to have some kind of somatic release to get past your shadow and into your gift frequency. So line 4 is the influential mind, which can be inflexible. So line 4s are great communicators and they're extremely influential. But if they're inflexible in their thinking, this is going to result in being rigid in relationships and not being able to see the other person's viewpoint. For line 4s, usually somewhere in y'all's teenage years, you formed a really negative opinion about somebody close to you, usually a parent, to prevent some other type of pain from coming in. So look at where you might be holding inflexible views towards whoever you're in connection with and how that might be related to teenage wounding. And also remember, you are so powerful and you have the ability to have so much positive influence in the relationship. Just look for where you're being inflexible and try to have a sense of humor about it. And do not underestimate the power of somatic healing. This can be jumping around, stomping your feet, screaming, dancing, whatever it is. Google somatic healing, okay? You'll figure it out. But sometimes this has to be worked out through the body for your mind to relax and start accommodating the viewpoints of others. Line 5, so powerful as always. You guys are probably going to catch yourselves telling everybody else how it is all the time. And that's because line 5 has the practical mind, which can also be defensive. So to move from the shadow to the gift frequency, you guys got to learn how to tell yourselves how it is. Y'all have the ability to distill complex information and make it simple, but it's not just about making it simple, it's about making it compassionate, loving, non-judgmental. And the way that you guys go around telling everybody else how it is all the time, you got to learn how to do this for yourselves. This is another tricky one because line 5s are so clever. Their egos can often trick them into telling themselves a story about how right they are no matter what. But again, that big brain is only going to help you in your relationships if you can give that same wisdom back to yourself. Because a lot of times, line 5s had an experience when they were teenagers where they felt like the world was against them. And when they feel vulnerable or under threat as adults, they go back into that pattern of feeling like whoever the person is inherently against them. And it takes a lot of self-awareness to break this pattern. I just forgot that I was a line 5 until now. Okay, Molly, you have to tell yourself how it is, as I'm sitting here telling everyone else how it is. Woof. Let's get to line 6. Line 6 has the objective or absent mind. So unlike all the other 6 lines in our IQ, 6 lines truly have no agenda. The rest of us have a hidden agenda. Sorry, not sorry. But line 6s can literally surf the mental plane without agenda. But this can mean they're sort of fluid in their opinions, and this can make sometimes them or their partners feel like they don't really stand for anything because they're so open to everything. As teenagers, 6 lines typically don't have a good outlet for self-expression, and this can make them kind of frozen in their heart. So if you feel that freeze of shadow or that absentness in your connections, the best thing you can do is just observe the pattern and wait. Because 6 lines, their hearts will reopen. They will reawaken in their relationships when they're ready, but they just have to observe the pattern until then. It's tough, but it's a natural process. You don't really have to do anything per se besides just be with your shadow pattern and be patient with yourself. Y'all, look at us out here, opening our hearts, transmuting our own psychological biases that are holding us back in relationships. We're really doing it. I'm so proud of us. Thank you for watching Mirror Readings. I'm Molly, and if you'd like to book a reading with me, please visit mirrorreadings.com, subscribe to this channel to save 15%, and if you have any questions, email me, mirrorreadings@gmail.com.